Hi everyone, my name is Matt. Today I want to talk to you about what it's like for me as an adult with autism, including a learning disability along with a cognitive disability. Um, I was born with this disability ever since I was young through currently. I've had a lot of challenges where I struggle to comprehend on learning different advanced subjects at a certain pace. Sometimes I struggle to figure out how to communicate my thoughts in different social settings, including on social media platforms. Um, Also, I struggle sometimes on understanding people's personalities, including social cues, and I get teased. Um, Ever since I was young through currently, I've also dealt in my long time of dealing with being bullied, being teased, being put down by some of my friends, people who I know, and people in general about me struggling with my disability, how I'm very different from other people if I can't meet their standards, and if I do struggle with social skills. And um, that. Um, so what I have been also been struggling a lot too as an adult with autism spectrum is I have worked, including currently in the food service industry, um, where it could be a challenge for me because I struggle on doing tasks efficiently and also struggling on trying to multitask in a fast paced environment. And when I struggle with this, I deal with getting bullied by some coworkers in my job where they call me names like retard, slowpoke if I struggle with doing tasks efficiently, or sometimes they bully me about other things too. And if I do need help on doing tasks, sometimes other coworkers would ignore me. And so it's very challenging to really admit that I struggle in a workplace setting with my disability is because I get judged by other coworkers in work. Sometimes I deal with outside my work. I deal with other people, including adults, where they get hard on me for simply just struggling on trying to navigate in a workplace, or if I struggle on trying to complete different tasks. Also, one challenging thing about me working in the food service industry is that there are times where I could easily lose a job due to no fault of my own. Where it could be like when business is not doing too well, or if management changes, where they can decide anytime they could let me go, which can be very difficult on me trying to find another job or another job that could pay me well. And so um, with when it comes to work, I try my best to always try to pay attention to details as possible, um, and I try working on being creative with critical thinking to expand on being creative on learning how to do different tasks efficiently or how to multitask in a fast-paced environment. I I try my best to work with other coworkers, including developing working relationships with them, trying to build some mutual respect so we can work as a team to get things done. And I try my best to help other people on the job. Um, Mostly what I do in food service is I mostly do like dishwashing tasks. Like I kind of like help wash like silverware, dishes, cups. I even help stock some clean silverware, including cups and plates out to for the customers and that. And so it can be very challenging for me to do a lot in a fast paced environment, but when it comes to times where when there's a chance of having a slow time. I try to take time to really be creative on focusing on doing tasks to get things done or help prepare before a rush start. Like, let's say, for example, if there was like a 30 or an hour slow time before a rush starts, I would try to make sure that we have enough plates, silverware, cups that are already washed. I try to stock as much as I can ahead of time. So that's what I basically do on trying to be a good worker and trying to use critical thinking in a workplace, even though I do struggle with my disability or when other people um, put me down for simply just struggling on in a fast paced environment. Um, I am currently on Medicaid, and so it's really hard for me with an autism spectrum to really afford paying high health insurance because a lot of times there are doctors, dentists, and sometimes like other therapy where they require a huge copay or higher insurance where I basically can't afford to pay out of pocket. And so even though my parents help me out too. Um, so being on Medicaid has been beneficial to me with my disability. It has helped me be able to see a dentist for a um, cleaning for the teeth, and also help fix caries of any issues. And also be able to see my primary care doctor if I need to have a physical or other health issues. And so, and also one thing that's good about Medicaid is if I can't afford pay out of pocket, I can easily go see them. What has been a really big concern for me, having autism with learning disability, is trying to understand what doctors say or what medical people are telling me because sometimes I have difficulty understanding what they're saying. Sometimes they talk too fast, sometimes they use too much hard words where it can be very difficult for me to basically try to understand it. And sometimes when I would try to say, can you repeat this, or can you write it down for me, or can you send me a copy? Sometimes how they react is they sometimes get a little bit mad at me, or they kind of assume that I'm just being a slowpoke or not being smart, because I'm struggling. I'm trying to understand different medical terms, and I try my best to explain that I do struggle with my disability. I struggle with cognitive um, disability where it affects me. I'm trying to understand what they're saying in medical terms. But there are some times where they do help me out, where they kind of write it down, or they um, sometimes say we can let your parents know about my medical stuff, and I give them permission just in case, so my parents can help me read it, and so like that. My hugest, biggest worry about myself with a disability is worrying that Medicaid will be cut, or that many politicians will want to get rid of Medicaid, which will hurt me in the long run because I am a minimum wage worker and I struggle on trying to make enough money to pay for my own health care. And also, I deal with struggles of navigating a work setting where it could easily be losing a job, or it'd be hard to find good health insurance. So I worry about losing losing my Medicaid, getting access to Medicaid if there are going to be cuts, or if politicians in Congress want to get rid of it. And so it gets me a little worried a lot too about that. I have tried to contact many congressional members on both political parties talking about why Medicaid should be cut, how Medicaid has helped me with my disability and seeing a doctor, and how being on Medicaid has helped me as a person who struggles in a job in a work setting, even though I work hard to try my best to make money, save money, spend money smart, and trying to do the right things like people would want me to do as a worker, like trying to be creative with critical thinking, helping people, wanting to have the ability to figure out how I can work with coworkers so we can work as a team. And so there is a really big concern that there are too many politicians, sometimes from both political parties, or like a lot of these big special interest groups where they are trying to push for the idea of work requirements for Medicaid, and it will be really difficult for me because there are times where sometimes in the food service industry they might not give enough hours to me or sometimes other co-workers trying to complete the hour requirements for the work requirements that people want to propose for Medicaid. And also, I struggle with my disability where it is hard for me to work um, in a full time capacity, or even at if struggle with trying to meet job qualifications that other jobs um, want me to do, but I just simply can't because of my cognitive disability. And um, so I worry that work requirements, if people try to push for work requirements for Medicaid, it will definitely hurt me as a person, even though I try my hardest to be a person who tries to keep my job for as long as possible, who tries to come in and help people, who tries my hardest on trying to complete tasks, even though I do struggle with my disability. I'm worried that with the cuts in Medicaid, or people want to get rid of Medicaid, and if there are work requirements for Medicaid, it will hurt me in the long run. And so, basically, in society, in the past, including currently, I have been increasingly being bullied, being put down, and being teased by many people, including some of my friends, people who I know, or sometimes um, some, including like my siblings' friends, including sometimes my parents' friends, where they tease me about having a disability, and sometimes they make fun of me, say anti-disability remarks to me, um, and it is very difficult to deal with. Um, and so, also another thing to mention too about in society that's been really challenging and difficult um, is that whenever there is like the news media or entertainment shows or like celebrities or like public officials or like people in the judicial system or including like other people like our current president, I call him the T word, or like Robert F. Kennedy Jr. would make a lot of bad bad stereotypical language, like saying people with autism are weak, people with disabilities are stupid, or people with disabilities who struggle with social cues are bad people or creepy or disgusting. And this really hurts me a lot as a person because with this type of rhetoric, it has really changed a lot of people in or that I'm around, or when I'm in a public place, or sometimes if I volunteer, or if I'm in a workplace setting where a lot of people start believing this anti-disability stigma, where they do like bullying. They say mean things like calling me retard, slow poke, making jokes like saying it'd be funny if you took your own life because nobody likes you with a disability. And sometimes when I'm in a public place, or sometimes in the past of being in social groups, I dealt with like physical harassment, like being spit at, being hit at, being pushed at, and dealing with like people using physical threatening jokes like, "Oh, I'm going to hit you," or try to get close to my face, trying to get me mad, and or try to say really gross details that makes me really uncomfortable, and like that, and it's very nerve wracking to navigate a society where a lot of people like to use bigotry and hate against people with disabilities, or try to use harassment or anti-disability remark, or sometimes make cruel jokes like, or name calling like retard, slowpoke, or making jokes like think it'd be funny if someone assaulted me with a disability, or making remarks like it'd be funny if you died, nobody would care about you, and they just laugh, and it really, really makes me incredibly, incredibly uncomfortable. And social media platforms have never been easy for me, as somebody with an autism spectrum too, because I've always tried my best to learn about how social media works, like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and all these other media platforms like YouTube, and like all these other social media messaging apps, because I deal where I get heavily judged by other people that I'm connected with, or that I'm supposedly friends with on social media platforms, where they make fun of me for struggling with my disability. They make fun of me for struggling on trying to be positive, despite me facing challenges, even though it's not my fault, or if I'm different from other people on these platforms. And it can get very challenging. And so, and the thing that's really hard is, on the social media platform, is I do get hateful messages where they make fun of me in a negative way, or they say mean comments like how I look ugly, how nobody likes me because I'm unique in different ways, or I'm different from them. I've dealt times where um, people who I used to be friends with, or kind of was connected with on social media platforms, would like to manipulate a picture of me to something that's very inappropriate, where they try to spread bad rumors about me, where it really puts me in a negative setting, where I feel very uncomfortable about myself. I always question, like, what is my appearance? How do I present myself to be a human being with a disability, despite me trying to understand the world, and that, and it's still a challenge. And that I'm, as an adult myself with this disability, I've dealt a lot of times where people make fun of me, where they question my sexual orientation, and I try to tell men and women that I'm a straight person. I have an interest in women, including girls, but I struggle to figure out how I can best communicate with them, or how to connect with them. And then I have been struggling where I get bullied by women, including girls, about me struggling with my disability, or if I struggle with social cues, or if I can't meet their standards, like how most women, including girls, have standards for guys, how they want them to be extremely smart, extremely sexy, good looking, well financially, or want to make them happy. And it's hard. I've dealt instances too where they would call me like, "Why you're such a retard?" Just because you can't understand what I'm saying, or why can't you be a perfect person because you struggle with a disability, or like on other instances too where I've dealt where peers of some women, including some girls, would encourage them to bully me even further, like in public settings, in social media, and sometimes in the past in social groups. And it makes me really, really uncomfortable. Also, what I struggle with women, including girls, is I've dealt with the hardships of dealing with the stereotypical um, behavior that they present, or they address. Is like they like to say men with disabilities are bad people, they're creeps, they're disgusting. And I've dealt with them using like masculinity as a way to try to make me feel really uncomfortable. in that, and it scares me a lot too. I also doubt times where they would do like spitting and hitting and making inappropriate sexual remarks about me, about my body, if, or about me, like they would make inappropriate jokes about my body parts, and just and it's really really hard. I'm trying to not cry so much, but inside of me I feel very very sad when a lot of this bullying and the teasing, including from women, including girls, really makes me feeling really sad. um, I have also doubt times too where much as I don't want to complain about feminism or be critical about feminism, because I myself am a strong supporter of women's rights, including I believe that women should have the right to choose, they should deserve equal pay when they're working. I believe that they should not face any discrimination based on their um, gender. I believe that women should have the right to make their own healthcare decisions, and I believe in equal rights for women. But what has been a really challenge for me in society, including currently, is how I've dealt increasingly being bullied and being put down, where some women, including some girls, use feminism or sometimes use like the Me Too movement or men hating era as a way to bully me with a disability, or to encourage people to hate me for struggling with a disability, and or if I just struggle with social cues, um, and and it's hard because I'm not sure how I can really navigate a society where people want to use, or women or girls want to use feminism as a way to bully somebody, and it's hard for me to be openly expressing concerns about it because I don't want to face retaliation from the community. I don't want people to think I'm anti-woman or I have a negative view of women. I'm a person that believes I believe the same thing, like as I previously mentioned, where I say I believe women should deserve to have equal rights. They should deserve to have equal pay, deserve to make their own decisions for their body. And I try my hardest to say, to explain to people, including some women or some girls, that my intention is I want to see women, including girls, be treated as human beings. I want to be understanding, supportive, be a good listener to them, along with saying good thoughts and positive vibes to them when they struggle in life or when they make some achievements. And I want them to know that I'm not a person that judges them. And so, to be honest, it's hard for me to talk, express sometimes about supporting feminism, or sometimes talk about my good intentions for women and girls, because I definitely get bullied by men. I get bullied even further by women, where they make fun of me for trying my best to be a good ally for women, including girls. And so, um, and and it's and as myself with an autism spectrum on a daily basis, every year, every month, um, in every season, I've always struggled with myself on trying to motivate myself and trying to get myself to feel okay with myself, trying to pep talk myself, where I try to tell myself, hey, I'm just a human being with a disability, but I'm trying my best to be a good person. I'm trying my hardest to understand people. I'm trying, I'm working hard on trying to use creativity, critical thinking to learn about things, to be creative, on understanding how to do different tasks, to better understand myself in different situations. And it's a challenge, because there's days that I struggle with people a lot. I struggle on trying to feel okay about being around people, um, and and dealing where people get mean at me all the time. Girls, including women, bully the heck out of me, and it's hard. because I try my hardest to be upbeat all the time. I try not to present myself as a negative person or an angry person. But whenever it comes to people bullying me a lot, I kind of makes me feeling really, really sad inside. All I can do is inside of myself is try to stay calm and try to hide my emotions because I deal sometimes where I feel like I want to cry, but a lot of people would call me like, "Why are you being a crybaby? You're being weird that you're crying. It's strange for a man with a disability to be crying." And all I can do is when people get really mean at me or people get close to me in the face where they say mean stuff or if they try to do physical harassment and make sexual comments, inappropriate sexual comments, I simply just have to walk away from the situation. Sometimes I go in the bathroom stall in a public place and I cry sometimes. I wash my face out. I try breathing exercises where I try to calm myself down. And when I go home, I try to sit in my room for a bit, where I kind of sit down, take the time to cry, sit down, and think to myself, or sometimes pray to God, where I try to tell God that to be honest, I am a human being with a disability. I have challenges in life where people get mean at me. I deal with people who bully me. I deal with a lot of anti disability stigma. I deal where I'm worried about losing my Medicaid or other healthcare access if it's gone. I'm worried that I'm going to be in a place where I can't really feel safe to be in a public setting, or if I can never have friends in life or people who can really be appreciative of me. And I try to tell when with my prayer to God is that I try my hardest to be a hard worker in a workplace or including volunteering when I'm helping feed homeless people. I try my hardest to educate myself by listening to audiobooks, watching documentaries, including YouTube or talk shows with closed captions to help expand on my comprehension, to help address or understand the issues that we face. I try to continue my interest in learning history, including social justice, as a way to teach me on how I can be a better ally to the community, but also to navigate society when there are challenges and to respectfully admire many individuals, including minorities, women, people with disabilities, or famous people that had struggles in life or how they worked hard to make achievements, to make or had good ideas to help make society better. I try my hardest to be a compassionate person to people who struggle in life or when they have difficulty in poverty or health issues or with a disability. I really try my hardest to see good in people despite the world being mean or when people get mean at me. I really work hard on trying my best to c- control my emotions, to keep myself grounded, where I'm like trying to make sure that I don't get mad if someone tries to provoke me, and I tell him that I try my hardest to simply just try to practice good health techniques. Like I try to keep myself in good shape with exercising. I try to be creative on how I want to have a balance of eating healthy and sweets. I try my best to improve on my um, oral care, making sure that my teeth is good, making sure I don't have any gum disease or teeth issues, and also in these prayer, I keep saying that I really want a world to be a better place, not just for me with a disability. I want the world to be a better place for minorities, women, people with disabilities, refugees, people who struggle with health issues, to get the help that they need, and also for people who are poor or disadvantaged or with a disability to uplift them from poverty or hardships too. another thing too that I do in my prayers, I try to tell God that all I simply just want is I want to have people to be understanding, respectful, appreciative of me, and understanding that I am just trying my best as a human being with a disability who wants to do good things. And I keep praying to God that I hope there's someday where I can meet people or have people be appreciative and value me as a human being. um, when it comes to basically just friends in general, it's kind of the same thing that I've mentioned with the speech is that the friendship cycle has not been very good for me for a long time. I continue to do the same things of being bullied, being put down, being judged, dealing with being cyberbullied sometimes, dealing with people spreading bad rumors about me, which aren't true, where it causes other people to change around me. Um, I've dealt where um, other people like to put me down for when I try to be a good friend, when I try to be supportive or a good listener, or if I try my hardest to send them good thoughts and positive vibes, but they get mad at me if and they blame me for the unhappiness. The sometimes where they make comments like you with a disability make me look bad. They encourage other people who I know or sometimes peers of their friends to bully me, and so um, it's difficult. What I've been doing as myself with an autism spectrum too a lot is I've kind of been taking long breaks from friendships for a while. I've been um, getting to the point where I feel like I have to give up on people too, like being supportive for people who aren't appreciative of me or who don't value me. I have to make sacrificing choices where like I have to um, give up wanting to be friends with girls and women sometimes do because I deal with a lot of bullying from them where I just don't feel confident about being around with women including girls or hoping that or because I really do wish that there could be women including girls that could um, treat me with respect and understanding of me but it's hard because there are times where I deal with people who get judgmental about me, where they assume that I am antisocial, I'm a bad person just because I don't feel comfortable being around lots of people, or if I can't do well with holding friends, maintaining them, making new friends, or even if it's like that, and or they kind of say like, "Oh, you have a disability, you are such a selfish person, you're a bad person," and inside of me, I feel a lot of guilt because I I am simply just trying to be a human being with a disability, but trying to do self care, trying to um, comfort myself when people get mean at me, but also I try my hardest to be a good friend, trying to be a good listener, trying to think of others, trying to do so much, but I get overwhelmed. I get overstimulated when people get mean, aggressive, do bullying, doing harassment, and there's times that I kind of feel uncomfortable. What I've been trying to do more on is work on coping strategies where when I deal with people who get mean at me, it's not very easy because everybody has different way of coping things. So I what I try to do with myself when it comes to coping is I try to listen to R&B and soul, gospel, nature music, and sometimes folk songs that have life messages as a way for me to try to calm myself down, but also be able to relate to some of the life messages that come from songs about compassion, kindness, and understanding, and the importance and need for to reduce against hate and bigotry. I also like to spend time with my historical figures that I collect from the Unemployed Philosophers Guild, where I spend time with them, I play with them, I look up to them because I like learning about history and all these famous people and what they've done. So I kind of spend time with them, and they're very, very makes me feel comfortable being around them. I like learning history because ever since I was young, including currently, I've always had I was always inspired to want to learn history because I was curious about how the world works. I was curious about many famous people or individuals who had worked hard in life on struggles or had wanted to advocate for good ideas. And I simply just wanted to learn how history is so important in our society so we won't repeat the same mistakes, but also address the need for improvements on human rights, especially on people with disability rights, including environmental protection, criminal justice reform, and other social justice too. I like watching TV, including movies. I like watching comedy, action, sometimes um, comedy, crime dramas, and because I like seeing how many actors and actresses really want to make their characters have great character development on like trying to navigate life, want to help people, being creative with critical thinking on different situations. Um, and also, I like to watch and support many actors and actresses who I really admire, where they are advocating for social justice, including people with disability rights, where it makes me feel good knowing that there are some actors and actresses that want to make the arts in TV shows, including movies, but also make society a better place. The only time that I don't like certain TV shows and movies is when they focus on really bad stereotypical view against people with disabilities, where they make like people with disabilities or people with autism spectrum or people who struggle with social cues as bad, as creepy, as disgusting. I don't like when TV shows or movies portray that because it creates more of an anxiety for me and including depression. It also changes other people around me, including people where they like to use that type of message to bully me even further. Um, I've I've always struggled with my autism spectrum on trying to understand TV shows and movies a lot because sometimes there are a lot of plot twists. Sometimes episodes are hard to understand. Sometimes with movies there's a lot of information, or sometimes superhero movies or TV shows where they want you to rely on the comic books, where I deeply struggle on comprehending. So what I try to do a lot is go on YouTube where I try to look up like movie recaps or TV show recaps where I listen to someone explain about the episode of a TV show or a movie so I can kind of get a sense of an idea of what the thing is about. And also I go on Wikipedia where I highlight on Wikipedia the information about the movie or TV show where it reads back to me as a way to understand what the show's about, what the plot is about, what the movie's about, who are these characters, and that. Also, what I basically like doing a lot is I kind of a person that likes to learn about subjects too, but I do struggle with learning at advanced subjects at a certain pace. So it can be very difficult for me to try to understand what the topic's about or the subject is about. So what I try to do a lot is I watch documentaries, I watch talk shows, I watch YouTube with closed captions to learn about the subject or the topic, or to learn about the history historical um, event or a famous person. I use the closed caption subtitles to help me process every information as possible and to help me retain it. I use audiobooks to help me understand literature or sometimes biographies or that. I like reading short biography books that I like for like kids because I struggle with learning material that most adults can read. So I like to read like kids' books as a way to help me be able to comprehend on them. Um, I like listening to the news. I mean, I don't like listening to the news all the time because sometimes news can be overstimulating. Sometimes it can be too many things at once. Sometimes the news um, isn't very uplifting. So what I try to do is I try to focus on certain news that I'm very interested in, like social justice or ideas to improve the community, or sometimes special reporting. And I do is I watch them on the internet with closed captions. Sometimes I select the news article and have it read back to me a few times just to make sure I try to understand it or try to figure out what the news is about. Um, um, I deal on a daily basis with my autism spectrum is I deal with dealing with having like health struggles too, like learning disability. I deal with stomach sensitivity because on certain foods. I deal with other pain in my body, and so what I try to do is I look up we try to read like healthy lifestyle magazines, or listen to YouTube or podcasts or TED Talks about health improvements. So I try to use that as a way to help find ways to help um, myself if I struggle with mental health, like depression, if I struggle with stomach sensitivity or stomach problems, or deal with other health issues. I try to look up a lot of these healthy lifestyle articles or presentations on YouTube or including TED Talk, or reading books about improving on diet or how to learn how to make like dairy and egg free, or how to reduce eating like junk food or fried food. So I try doing a lot of that as a way to try to improve my lifestyle better. I do struggle a lot with trying to be perfect at a workout when I exercise, and there are times where I easily get judged and bullied by other people in the gym, or for simply just struggling on a workout, or if they don't think I look good in shape, or if they get fitness aggressive. So what I try to do is look up YouTube videos about workout videos where I learn tips about how to do a workout in a certain way. I try my best to go to the gym as much as I can to try to improve on my coordination, keep myself in shape, and trying to improve my mental health. Even though I deal with challenges of going to the gym because I'm always worried about people being fitness aggressive at me. And so I try being creative at exercising, like walking on a track, doing jump roping, doing little weights, sometimes swimming, sometimes other dry land stretches, or doing jumping jacks as a way for me to try to help keep myself in shape. Um, and if there are times where I don't feel comfortable going to the gym, or if I feel very scared about going to the gym, I usually do is take a walk outside for 20 to 30 minutes, or I can do sometimes jump up outside for a few sets and do stretching outside. And so, um, in that. Um, Also, one thing that has I kind of been doing for since 2014 to currently is I've been working on my own project where I like to write letters to influential people that inspire me, that range from celebrities to public officials or other influential people that inspire me to work hard on my disability, or how like learning about the work, or how their acting in TV shows and movies is very impactful or inspiring to me. Um, I do this as a way for me to cope when the world is tough on me, when I deal with being bullied by people or being put down, when people tell me that I'm a bad person because I struggle with a disability or I don't belong, um, and um, and I find writing letters to influential people very very comforting to me, and it also helps teaches me that I want to see good people who want to advocate for good things, even though the world is broken, or if it's filled with people who like bigotry and hate, or like to use anti-disability stigma. There are times where I would say about 80% of the time I get good responses too. Sometimes mail gets lost very easily, um, or sometimes mail gets delayed for a long time. But I'm very appreciative of how I have some people at my local post office where they take the time to help me out, find the missing mail, and or if I struggle with, or if there's a mail problem, they try to help look for it, even though it may take a long time. But I'm very appreciative in how people at my local post office take the time to help me out if I want to mail something or if I want to look for other missing mail. There are times where I deal with get rejection mail. Sometimes I deal where people don't want to forward my letters to the people that I'm interested in writing to because they kind of judge me for struggling with a disability, and they kind of t- assume that it's strange for a person with a disability to be writing to them, and sometimes they just don't want to deliver it to them, or sometimes they say they make a lot of barriers where it's hard for me to feel okay. When I deal with these type of rejection letters, or when people reject my letters going to influential people, it makes me sad and hurt all the time because I simply just want to give a good message or to the people that inspire me, tell them, hey, I like your work. Your work inspires me as a person with a disability. I'm trying to learn about life or learn history or try to be creative on critical thinking. And so um, that can be a really big challenge of dealing feeling sadness about being dealing with the rejection letters or when people don't want to help get my letters to the people that I'm interested in. But on the other hand, many of the responses that I've gotten from people for since 2014 has really made me feel good. I enjoy reading them on a daily basis, even though I may have like 6 or 7 binders filled with a lot of really nice things from like actors, actresses, public officials, judges, and other influential people that inspire me. I read the words all the time, and they give good insight about their work. I get people respond to my question answers. They give me good advice about understanding life while trying to be motivated to work on my disability. They also tell me experience of what it's like starting a TV show or movie, or good insights like what if they feel like they resemble the characters in these things. And so I really enjoy writing letters to these influential people too, because it gives me a sense of comfort and gives me motivation and makes me happy when I get a very kind response where they want to invite me to meet with them, or if they get really nice presents from them, and I kind of um, feel good um, and confident too sometimes. So that's what I basically just do on a daily basis. Um, Also, I've been a volunteer for the community for a very long time, including currently, um, where I try my hardest to help other people who are homeless or people who are poor or disadvantaged on getting access to food or essential items or canned grocery bags. And as a person with my autism spectrum, I try my hardest to volunteer because I want to help others, because I've seen other people struggle in life through poverty, through health issues, or the disability, or when they struggle with feeling that the government has abandoned them. And I try my hardest to help other people. Um, but it can be a challenge too with my disability and helping others when I volunteer, is because there are times where sometimes other volunteers from the past or and currently have bullied me or teased me about struggling. I'm trying to do a task efficiently on a fast pace, or if they feel like I'm not doing the best as I can. There are times where sometimes we run out of food so fast where a lot of homeless people and people poor get very mad or aggressive at me and sometimes spit at me or sometimes use vulgar language at me. And so that can be really difficult too. And so what I try my best as a volunteer is I try to be creative with critical thinking, where I try my hardest to pay attention to how many people are in line for the food, and I always try to count how much grocery bags that we have or how much food that we have, where I try to estimate and how much food I can give out to each people, and if I feel like that I could provide seconds to people or like another grocery bag filled with canned goods, I usually try to tell them is wait 10 to 15 minutes and I can help you out. Um, there are other times where sometimes we might, me or other volunteers might not be able to help everybody out in need, but what I always try my best to do is try to tell people who are poor or disadvantaged that we come every week, we'll do what we can to help you out, or if you come 10 minutes or 20 minutes early before the shift, we can try to provide you as much accommodations as we can. And 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 also I like to play video games too. I like playing role playing games where I can have a character interact with doing things fishing, hunting, helping people, or simply just doing daily basic things because I can connect with a lot of these role playing games because in real life I do struggle with my disability where I can't really have friends or I struggle with doing tasks. But when I play in a role playing game, I feel confident and cool, like, wow, I can easily make my character do these things. And so um, there are games that I like to play, like Assassin's Creed, Red Dead Redemption 2, Saints Row 2, um, Life is Strange True Colors, Hitman series, Hitman 1, 2, and 3, where I can be creative on how I do that. But one thing that's really hard for me to play video games with my disability is sometimes I get overwhelmed on trying to understand how to navigate in the video game world or that. So I try to do is use a guidebook and watch YouTube videos to learn more about the game or how to complete a task or a mission or how to find collectibles. So I use that as a way um, to understand role playing games in the video game settings. I think what I have learned as myself with an autism spectrum is that with a learning disability and cognitive disability is that I have to tell myself on a daily basis that it's it's not my fault that I have a disability. I was born with it. I have to tell myself that it's important for me to try my hardest and my best and to be a human being with good principles like kindness, compassion, understanding, creativity, with critical thinking, skills to understand different situations or to develop tasks or to learn things. Also, I have to tell myself that it is very important for me to try my best or to improve on understanding people in different situations. Try to expand on learning different topics at my own pace or figure out different creative strategies to do it. Work on better improvements of coping strategies when I deal with the hardships or when people get mean at me, and and many others. Unfortunately, the biggest struggles that myself with a disability is that navigating a workplace setting or a volunteering setting where it is hard for me to multitask in a fast place. But all I can simply just do is try to tell myself that it is important that I try to be creative with critical thinking on how to do tasks efficiently or to multitask, and try to find ways to improve on working relationships with coworkers, volunteers, and try my best to help others. Um, and unfortunately, the bullying and the teasing has never stopped. It's always been continuous in my life in the past, including currently. I've dealt with times where I was mistreated by some women, some girls, some men, some of my friends, peers of my friends, some of my sibling friends, some of my parents' friends, where I deal with being bullied by them, including other people in general. But all I have to try to do is try to tell myself that I have to try not to get too worked up about it, not trying to be upset about it, but also try my best to make sure I don't get provoked or angry, but try to focus on being creative and just giving myself a pause for being around people, working on self care, but trying to not give up on the hobbies that I've mentioned, and trying my best to help other people. Unfortunately, friendships has never been really good for me. I struggle with it all the time. It hasn't gotten better. I've dealt with meet new people, then people don't treat me right. I get bullied, but all I can simply just do is give myself distance from people, but try my best to work on critical thinking skills to understand people or to understand um, different situations. Um, and so unfortunately, with like social media platforms, they're never easy. It's always going to be hard all the time for me. I'm always going to get bullied or being put down, but all I can simply just do is try to tell myself on social media platform is I have to be creative with critical thinking, be compassionate and kind for other people, try to give think of good thoughts or positive vibes to people who struggle in life or when they make achievements, and for me to be creative on social media where I can try to be a balance where I try to say I dealt with hard times, but here's what I've done, here's what I've tried to do, and see how that works out. But I think overall, with my challenge of my disability, is that I struggle with social cues a lot. I struggle fitting into social groups a lot. I struggle on maintaining friendships or like trying to hold on to friends because a lot of people don't want to appreciate me for trying my best to be a good person to them or trying to be a good friend or simply just trying to do good things. But all I can simply just tell myself is I want to be on a good path. I want to continue to be a human being um, with good things, even though I struggle with my disability or when people get mean to me, and that I can always know that God and Jesus can look over me and knowing that I am simply am just a human being who is trying my hardest to do um, good. Also, I'm a type of person that likes to be a visionary too, where I really want a world to be a better place for people with disabilities, including me. I really do hope and pray that I can have people who can be understanding me, be respectful, be appreciative of me for trying my best to be a human being with good things. And I hope that someday that they can also be girls or women that can be understanding of me or appreciate me for trying my best to be a good person, even if I struggle with social cues, or if I can't meet their standards, or if I'm not a sexy guy, or if I struggle with my disability. Um, and so it wasn't easy talking about myself as an autism as a person with autism, including learning disability, along with cognitive disability. It's been really hard for me to try to organize my thoughts to explain what it's like being an adult with a disability, the things that I struggle, things I try to learn. But I tried my hardest to work on this, figure out how to say it right, how to communicate well, how to make sure that people are on board about it, but also for me to try to understand myself as a human being with a disability. I wanted to do good things, but also trying to navigate a world where it is broken. I hope many of you can understand what it's like for me being an adult with this disability, but also I hope that if there are families that are worried about their children with autism spectrum or with a disability, that I want to send good thoughts and positive vibes to many people who struggle with a disability or struggle with autism spectrum too, and that I'm want to try to advocate for your rights, but also to explain my story to help many of you feel connected, and and also I try going to like support groups with people with autism or with disabilities, so I can try to find some common ground with other people who struggle with the same thing as I do, and trying to help me improve on my mental health. Thanks for taking the time to listen to me.